Welcome back to another episode of the Strive for 25 podcast. And today we're going to be talking about some big news from the platform, the ebook that we just released on Amazon. The title, How Literally Anyone Can Become a Millionaire. And this is a book that, it's a short read. And in my opinion, kind of gives somebody the blueprint if they're wanting to learn how to build wealth and looking for a place to start. What are the most important things to be focusing on? There's so many lists and guides and things that people are talking about of how to be able to get ahead, build wealth, get in better shape, get in better relationships, all kinds of lists, all kinds of gurus. And at the end of the day, this book, in my opinion, kind of just boils it down to just very, very simple things and trying to have, a few, couple, one or two things that can kind of anchor you as you go down your own march and journey towards reaching your goals, whatever it may be. And I've kind of applied these principles towards wealth building because we believe that, by building wealth, it gives you the ability to have, more control of your assets and time and hopefully get your time back. And we call power of choice and having the ability to choose what you want to do with your time and your life and the things you're passionate about. And so this book talks about the basics of saving and investing, but taking examples of compounding and applying them a couple of different things like stocks and real estate. And we dig into what I call the stair step method, which something we talk about a lot on this channel. In episode 17 on the podcast here, I took an example of somebody that I've worked with and helped kind of broken it down to very simple terms and how they bought 4 properties and now that's a multi-million-dollar portfolio. And they started out making 40 grand, $40,000 a year with no savings. And they stair step their way up in purchasing properties and turning old ones into rentals and scaling up. Again, as just an example. So the proof is in the pudding, right? Like if you're talking about pudding, literally, like you put the ingredients together, you mix it all up and you get the end product, right? If only life were that simple, just following the box directions on your Jello pudding, putting it together and get the actual output and results. So if only life were that simple. And one of the things we talk about in the book is that, there's so much information out there that sometimes it's hard to decipher what's the information that's worthwhile digging into and working on and getting traction on. There's just so much out there. Sometimes it can be overload. And then on the flip side of that, it's like, okay, well, most people, they know what it takes to be happy and successful. They know what it takes to be able to, march towards their goals and dreams. But at the end of the day, why aren't more people where they want to be? Why aren't more people, doing the things that they love and getting their time back and, instead of slaving at a job, hoping that your 401k is going to be enough. There's people out there that are doing things differently and trying and taking control and getting ahead and getting, their time back. And I feel like we know what we need to do, but at the end of the day, why aren't more people where they want to be? And I think that right there is the defining moment is what it is to be human, right? We know what it takes to do, but we just don't do it. We don't do the actions enough or consistently enough, or we get distracted and we forget, or we start working on something and we don't see results and, we stop. And, if we fast forward the clock and we keep doing those actions over a period of time, then those results are going to be there. Right. The results are actually, they're there early on. They're just not visible to the naked eye. And 6 months, a year goes by, those results, they can become tangible to the naked eye. So, getting results, getting traction, that's at the end of the book. That's kind of where this, what I feel like is, something that's important to tool or skill set to be aware of and can help somebody increase the odds of getting traction on their goals. And it's stuff that's so simple to do, easy to do, but easy not to do. And you have to check out the book to get, the actual blueprint, but it has to do with, tapping into the mind and understanding how the mind works and, where the pitfalls are of people that we get in our own way, whether it be limiting beliefs or Things like, hey, I don't have time. You know, these things can derail us from reaching our goals when at the end of the day, you know, the most successful people are out there. They have the same amount of time as we do, but for some reason they're able to get there. They're able to get to where they want to be and have massive success. And I'm not saying we're all going to be, a billionaire, an Elon Musk or a Bill Gates or, a Rihanna or a Beyonce or whoever else you want to measure to. We may not all get there, but doesn't mean that we don't have the ability to create our own path of financial success and create a path that we have more control of our destiny and more control of our time and confidence of where we're going rather than there's stats out there, and I talk a lot about this on the channel. 56% of Americans right now don't have more than $1,000 saved. 56, that's more than half. And this channel, the purpose of this channel, is really at the end of the day, if we can help out a certain percentage of people that fit into that demographic, then hell yeah, that's where that's where it would be all worth it for us in terms of what we're trying to do. And how can we help somebody? Well, this book, it's one example of giving somebody a little bit of a blueprint to jumpstart their path and start to do some work and get a little bit of traction and see some results and see some successes to be able to build off of. And that's kind of what the purpose of the book is to jumpstart somebody on their path and give somebody, hopefully push somebody down the path of believing that pretty cool stuff is possible. Showing someone the vision that your dreams are actually possible. And we've broken the wealth equations down into 3 equations. We talk about a lot on this channel. The first one is the investment equation, right? You have money, you buy an asset like a stock or property or whatever the asset may be, and then you get a projected rate of return over time. And over a period of time, you get your total output, which becomes your return, right? So pretty simple. The savings equation is also pretty simple. It's income minus your expenses equals your savings. And on this channel, we talk a lot about side hustles and increasing income and different ways that people are building businesses on the side and building businesses and things like that. And, there's so much content out there about cutting your Starbucks coffee or doing a budget and cutting your expenses. And at the end of the day, there's just only so much to cut for most people. And the people that I'm seeing get ahead are the people that are, creating new income streams, creating either a side hustle or a business on the side or increasing income on their day job and things like that, and increasing income to be able to save more to then be able to invest. And the third equation is the results equation, which is, hey, how do we go from where we are today at our current state? How do we get from there to the place that we want to be, the place that we want to go, which at the end of the day is a different version of yourself. How do you go from these current status of, maybe you're stuck, maybe you're struggling, maybe you're not where you want to be in terms of income or assets and all that stuff. Or maybe you are, right? But maybe you need to tweak a few things to get there faster. How do you go from there to where you want to be? And the results equation is our take on, well, how do you go about that path of elevating yourself to a higher level, a higher trajectory? And so it starts with your thoughts, right? I mean, you hear this a lot on different platforms or authors or whatnot, but your thoughts literally become your results. Your thoughts become your results. So your thoughts affect the way that you feel, your emotions, either positive or negative. And then those positive or negative emotions will affect how you act. And then those actions over time become your results. And so on this channel, we talk a lot about how, hey, when you realize that you have somewhat control of what goes into your brain, some control of your thoughts, that if I'm thinking about something positive, then I'm going to get a positive action, which is going to follow to over time positive results, and vice versa. If you have a situation where you have a hurdle or a problem, and it's like, hey, well, if you're thinking about things negatively, hey, I'm not gonna, I don't know how to do this. I'm not gonna be able to figure this out. Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, the way you think about things is gonna literally dictate your results. So if you're thinking negatively, you're gonna feel negative, which is gonna lead to negative actions, which is gonna lead to negative results. And so obviously the flip side, positive thoughts over time become positive results. And so it's a series of zeros and ones. I mean, if you can add one more positive and take out a negative, right? And then you do it again and again and again, you start to kind of get some momentum and you fall forward and you start to literally remove those negative thoughts and you add in the positive thoughts. And over time you start to fall forward instead of either staying neutral or falling backwards. And so taking control of that process. And so, some of the thought leaders out there are processes that can be, put in place to be able to implement these things. And something that the book actually talks about. And we call this kind of tapping into a superpower inside of you, where you can tap into the subconscious brain to help increase the odds of you reaching your goals. And that's what, the elite athletes, the elite leaders, whether they know it or not, actively know what they're doing or not, like they're tapping into these internal thought patterns and brain structures and subconscious brain to be able to help them remove the obstacles to get them to where they want to go. So again, how literally anyone can become a millionaire is the name of the book. You can get it on Amazon. You can Google search it. How literally anyone can become a millionaire. You can probably search my name as well if you have interest in checking it out. We'll hopefully have a link somewhere on the broadcast. But yeah, I mean, this is not the end all be all, right? There's so many books. There's so many pieces of information out there to access and acquire and to utilize and that are accomplish different things. But for the way that I look at this is that, hey, if you know where you're trying to go and you work a little bit every single day towards getting there, and maybe you have good days and you have bad days, but if you're working a little bit, one little action towards your goal every single day, and you just don't stop, then that goal becomes a reality at some point in time. And then you can reroute or readjust your goals and then course correct and then work on the next one. And that's something that me personally, the principles in the book are things that I've personally implemented myself. And, my own journey is my own journey, right? Maybe you can relate to it, maybe you can't. But I've been in the mortgage industry since 2006, and in 2012 and 2013, I was at the top of the list of loan originators in my company at that time, and I was number one in 2013, number one in my company, and that happened again in 2016 at a different company, and so got into some niches, got into some some good luck. But worked hard and worked, very intentionally of what I was trying to do to be able to help a lot of people, with lending and home financing and whatnot. And so I had some successes, and then, kind of went to a different path and got out of the banking side of things and came to Fairway Mortgage, and it's a great company, one of the most entrepreneurial companies I've ever witnessed and been around. But Fairway is a big company, and there's a ton of rock stars. A ton of rock stars in different markets. And I'm in St. Louis, and a lot of my clientele is in different parts of the country. So, DC, Florida, Carolinas, Texas, Missouri, California, different places in the country. And, got into a little bit of a niche working with military along the way. And so, came to Fairway with my partner, 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐓. We started our own, quote unquote franchise, our own branch with Fairway, and, had a lot of successes, and we grew teams, and, 21 and 22, we reached some pretty strong numbers. But in terms of the company, like people, like just to give you an example, I think in 2020, me personally, me and my team, we did $48 million of business, which is a good number in our business. I think the average loan officer closes anywhere from $6 to $12 million in a year. That's the average. So the next year in 2021, I think we did 52 million. And my partner Mike did like 36 million with his team. So great numbers, in terms of the national landscape, top 1% of originators in the country. So cool. Like at that point, like we already had a lot of good successes going, things are going the right direction. So we should be doing those things because we were stacking our actions and, getting better and getting better. And then along the way, real estate was something that I had been, investing in along the way. Didn't really have a mentor. Kind of just did my own thing, reading a lot of books. And, my own journey on that, like I bought a house in 2009. That was a condo, lived in it, for a number of years, and then bought a house in 2013 and then turned the old one into a rental. Just something that it's just natural course of my journey. And then got married in 2014. And then in 2018, bought a different house and then turned the old one into a rental. And then in 2017, actually, bought a couple of 4 families in St. Louis. And then my partner, Mike, and I, we acquired a commercial building, renovated it, and it's where we operate our mortgage business out of. And then along the way, he and I, and our own joint LLC, have a couple other multifamilies that we've acquired over time. And then, fast forward the clock, 21, and, I was able to get a short-term rental in Destin. And then 22, me and a couple other partners were able to acquire a piece of land that we're going to be building some houses and basically a subdivision. And the reason why I go down that path is that, when I got to fairway and having some successes, I mean, at the end of the day, 19, 20, 21, we had a lot of successes. At the same time, I felt like there was something more, that there's something more that I could be doing to either help other people get to their goals faster, more things that I could be doing to get to a higher level. And so I was searching and searching and searching. And, in 2018, I came across a book called The Power of Consistency by Weldon Long. And that's where a lot of the insights and inspiration came from for this book. And this is a person who, 3 times in jail, had a kid that he never really met. And, his father passes away, I think in like 1996 or 97 or somewhere in that late 90s timeframe. And, kind of had an epiphany and kind of, hey, what am I doing in my life? Kind of a moment. And started kind of getting exposed to some of the thought leaders, Tony Robbins, Stephen Covey, these other people as well. And a lot of those books talk about the same things. Hey, my thoughts affect how I feel, which affects my actions, which affects the results. And so this guy's in his 30s and thinking, well, maybe I do have a chance. Maybe if I can change how I think, maybe that will change my results. And he started to reflect about things. And, his thought processes, the negative thoughts that he was thinking, were literally leading to the actions that were causing him to get into jail. And I think he robbed a couple stores and had some other things going on. So, he realized that, hey, I'm in the same situations that other people may be in. Other people are choosing to go get a second job, and he was choosing to go rob something, right? So same circumstances, just different choices. And a lot of had to do with the way that he was thinking about things, and his own self-reflection and own self-beliefs were affecting his bottom line results. And so, I remember this time I was on an airplane heading to Houston, Texas to go visit, family, grandparents and aunts and uncles and cousins and whatnot, which we do, almost every year. And my coach, Dave Linsmeyer, recommended the book to me. So I was plowing into it and reading it and say, oh, shit, my own personal situation, dealing with chaos every day. It's a commission-based job. You don't know what's going to happen in 6 months, let alone 2 months in terms of business. And so we're constantly, trying to add value to be able to make sure we have business coming in. And so dealing with chaos is just part of the job. And I, at that point, I'm just, feeling like I'm all over the place, trying to be able to get traction in the job, and also be able to, make sure that my spouse is in good shape in our relationship. And we're, at that point trying to have kids, and just a lot going on. I just, I feel like I need some help and getting things ironed out and staying on track. And so, literally, in the book, he calls it his prosperity plan, mapping out a couple of thoughts and visions and goals of where you want to get to is kind of like your higher level vision goal. And then drilling down to a couple smaller action items that are going to help you reach that goal. And then basically using a certain process to program those vision and goals and action items into your subconscious brain, which the book will get into. So for me, that was something that helped me start to go down a certain path and start to believe, oh my goodness, okay, yeah, maybe I'm stuck, but I have the confidence and belief that I can do more things and accomplish other certain goals that I kind of was doubting myself on. And that in 18, 19, that work that I still do every single day was help kind of push the envelope to be able to make 20 and 21, years that I can look back on. Like, yeah, we accomplished a lot and helped a lot of people, and the numbers are there as well. And that same work, as 21 came along, and I decided, hey, you know what, like, I think this could make sense to go, get into the short-term rental space down in Florida. And again, I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. So like buying something, 1,000 miles away in a different state, that I'm not that familiar with. But I, through work and through these processes was able to get to the point where, hey, I think I can do this. I'm going to do it. All the research, all the planning. And, I didn't have all the answers figured out, that's for sure. But along the way, had a couple curveballs and was able to make it happen, use some other resources to help make it happen. And the other properties that I had acquired over time, I was able to tap into some equity of these other properties that I purchased years before. As the values went up and paying balances down, I was able to tap in and be able to leverage some equity to be able to help bridge the gap on the down payment. And so 22 happened, and now we have this other venture, this development venture, and these processes, these programming your subconscious brain on your goals. And every time you do this, and every day you working on these habits, and then you have these little bitty wins that you have that you can stack on top of the next one. It continues to build confidence in not only yourself and your processes, but that, hey, these crazy ideas and visions and beliefs are out there. They're not as crazy as I once thought, a few years ago, that there's a chance to make these things happen because I've got the work, I've got the experience and the track record of making these crazy things. When I say crazy, I'm talking about just ideas that seem far away, and making them a reality. And so, kind of getting back to the purpose of the book, it's like, hey, maybe this content, maybe it's something that can help you, and maybe it doesn't. That's okay, right? It's anything. It's either going to apply or it's not going to apply. But if you're out there thinking to yourself, hey, you know what? Like, I know that there's something more out there. I know that there's something more that I can do to help myself, my family, my peers, my colleagues, my family, my own self-fulfillment, my own joy, my own accomplishments. There's something more out there, and you're not quite sure how to get there. Maybe this is a tool or resource that you can tap into, that may help give you that extra little boost, to help you, knock down some more doors to get to your goal or get back on your path to be able to get to your goals and your dreams. And that's the thing, on this platform, I've said this before, that, dreams die in the fringes. Dreams die in the fringes. And what I mean by that is that I look at my own journey, this platform, this podcast, is something that literally never even crossed my brain until probably June of 2022. And here it is as a reality. Like, in the last 15 years, our industry is pure chaos. You're getting phone calls, text messages, all times of the day, weekends, nights, because people are trying to buy houses. And when you're buying a house, sometimes you got to put an offer on a property at midnight on a Friday, and you need to have a pre-approval letter. You need to have updates. And you have to go through processes and conversations. And that's just part of the job. And it is what it is, right? This job, it's pure chaos you're dealing with. And, in that time frame in May and June, rates are going up significantly. In December, we were locking loans in 3% range. And from May, we were probably in the mid fives. And then, within a couple of weeks, we're in the mid sixes. And so rates were continuing to just basically double in 6 months. But at that point, they were going up so fast. And so at that point in time, I saw the writing on the wall that there were some headwinds coming. As rates are going up, and it's going to force people out of being able to afford to qualify to buy. And who knows what was going to happen next. And I just saw that things are going to be changing. And I knew that, hey, if I'm going to be continue to build this business and try to survive in this industry, I'm going to have to probably do things a little bit differently to stay, to keep doing what I'm doing and try to be able to continue to grow and build a business. And because, again, at the end of the day, clients out there that know me, right, that have worked with me for years. I have clients that I've been working with for over 10 years, as they've relocating and done different things, as they've maybe they're military, maybe they're not. And it's not the norm in our industry to be working with a client that's 1,000 miles away in a different state. I'm in St. Louis, Missouri, and clients in different parts of the country, DC, Virginia, Carolinas, Florida, like I said. Whether the norm in the industry is that you're working with your local realtor and your local lender, and et cetera, et cetera. So this is definitely going against the grain. And so for me to be able to continue to go really upstream like this, I'm going to have to do more. And, at the time, I've got 3.5-year-old, I guess at that time, 2.5-year-old twin boys, and they're just a lot. My wife works full time, and she's a counselor. And so she works sometimes those 6 o'clock at night. So, my days are pretty tight in terms of time, getting up with them, getting out the door to two different schools. I go to twins, but they do go to different schools in the morning, and then work. And then by 5, I'm picking them up because my wife Sarah's working. And then, by the time dinner, playtime, bath, and they're down to bed, I mean, it's 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, in that time frame, depending on the day, the month, whatever. And so all these things that I wanted to be able to do, try to build the business and keep these going, it's things that I've had to do literally after hours, we're talking like 8:30, 9:30 at night. And so I was struggling mightily because I knew that I wanted to get the work done, and I'm just sitting there, and our kids, they they sleep in their own rooms, but they want mommy or daddy to be in there until they fall asleep. So I'm laying there, as they're going to bed, and sitting there stressing that, hey, I have to ramp back up and get my energy going to go ahead and log back in and work on stuff. And that anxiety, that stress was just crushing me, because there'd be days that I'd do it and then days that I wouldn't do it. And I was just having all these, ups and up days and down days, and trying to keep up. And, the visions that I had was, hey, I've got, amazing clients that know me and trust me and, believe in what we're trying to do. And I believe in, hey, real estate is a path for the everyday person to be able to get ahead and build wealth, and, all these things. And I've got a story to share. And I think building a community is something that, is possible to do, and help a community, and help the community also help other people at the same time, and all these things. And so social media was something that I saw as an opportunity to try to be able to take things to the next level. So all these things I was doing were things I was doing at night. And, at that time I came across a book called Atomic Habits, and was reading that from a recommendation of a friend, Leanne, thank you. But there's one part, and I talk about this all the time on the platforms, Instagram, YouTube, etc. The 2-minute rule. For me, it was something that hit home for me, and it may or may not for you, right? It may be something else that works for you. But I was getting in my own way, right? Like in the book, he talks about, hey, mastering the art of showing up. Like, hey, he had tells a story of a client who, wanted to get into better shape. And, he basically told the client, hey, all I want you to do is go to the gym and walk around for a few minutes, 5 minutes, and don't do anything. And then do it the next day and and do it 5 days in a row. And literally just walk in there and don't do anything. So think about that. You're going to walk into the gym where you see other people working out in shape, and maybe you are or not in shape. I don't know. Right? Walk around there and do literally nothing. How foreign, how awkward, how weird is it to just do that on a Monday, go back on a Tuesday and walk around, go back on a Wednesday and walk around, do nothing. And that's what he had his client do. And by doing that process of 5 days, and then by the 6th day, they reconvene and say, okay, well, what do you want to do? Are you ready to ramp up and get some work done? Well, yeah. Okay, cool. And then mastering the art of showing up. Now getting there, getting yourself to the gym is the biggest part of the process. Once you get there, the work happens. And so that's one of the things he talks about in the book. There's that little bitty habit of, maybe it's lacing your shoes, and that jumps you onto your habit. Maybe it's reading one page, and that helps you read a chapter, or whatever, your 5 minutes or whatever it may be. Or if you're a writer, maybe it's, hey, I'm going to write one sentence, and that's your minimum. So for me, it was, I'm going to log in for 2 minutes. And he calls it the 2-minute rule. 2-minute rule. If you can just do 2 minutes every single day without breaking the chain, that 2 minutes is enough to be able to keep the chain going, to keep that momentum going, to train your brain that this is something that is part of my routine, that this is something that I'm going to prioritize. And that 2 minutes for me, I mean, there were days, the first couple of days, I literally just put a timer on, 2 minutes, boom, and stopped. I may have done like one thing. By the time my computer logged, takes 5 minutes to log in, set my timer, do a couple things, and I'm out. And it was so weird. But by a weekend, literally a weekend, that stress, that anxiety was gone. Like I was looking forward to logging back in. Didn't matter, because I knew that, hey, if I felt like shit, I was going to stop at 2 minutes, and it's okay. And like that process is literally what happened. I mean, I started reading that book, I think maybe in May into June. and kind of just put the process in place. So July 12th, we started posting on Instagram. We've posted every single day since then. The podcast started in September, and we're 70 something episodes in now. That literally wouldn't be here without putting these processes into place, with the vision, the prosperity plan work that kind of ties back into the power of consistency, that you'll see in the book. The 2-minute rule, something that was important for me personally to help get out of my own way, to take the stress off, to take the weight off, and just get a little bit done every day. I'm the person who would cram everything to the last second in school, right? It's something that's just my nature. So these are the things that help push me outside of my comfort zone to get things done. And so here we are, doing things I never even thought I'd be doing. And, more things are coming down the horizon that, again, I never thought I'd be doing. And so the reason I bring this up is that, like, I'm a nobody. Like, I'm nothing special. I've just done a couple cool things that I've kind of stacked up and, built a portfolio of real estate and podcasts and things like that. Like, but not where I want to be, but I'm definitely farther along than I envisioned a year ago or 2 years ago, 5 years ago. And so hopefully this, gives you a little bit of hope and belief and inspiration that wherever you are, maybe there's more that you can do. Maybe it's not impossible to go make your dreams happen. And back to the fringes, right? Like, the fringes happen, what I call, before you go to work and after dinner time, right? You have these ideas and beliefs that you want to be able to do or add on to, on top of the things you're already doing, right? Whether it be a side project or a side business or whatever it may be. And, the thought, hey, you know what? Like, it's 8:00. You're sitting on the couch. I know that I need to be doing XYZ on this thing. I'll just do it tomorrow. And then it happens again and again. And tomorrow becomes never, because you forget, you get distracted, and on to the next thing. So literally your dreams die in the fringes. So for me, I just had enough, and I wasn't going to let that happen. And so these are the principles that you'll see in the book that, help me. Maybe they can help you, maybe they don't, right? I mean, so, and that's the thing. This book, I think it's on Kindle or on Amazon for like $3. But, like, it's not about the money. It's about getting the message out there. And we said this before on the platform, that 56% of Americans don't have more than $1,000 saved. Cool. Well, what are we going to do about it? I don't have all the answers, but I see people that are doing things creatively to add more income. And it's like, you're not going to cut your way into building wealth, but if you increase income and you do that for a day, a week, a month, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, imagine the compounding that you're going to get on those actions. Imagine the return on your time you're going to get for working on those things over, a number of years. See, either you do or don't. If you don't do these things, you're going to be somewhere in 5 years. And if you do those things, you're going to be probably in a different place in 5 years. You're going to be there in 5 years anyway. Do you want to be in a better place or not a better place? Those are the things that I had to wrestle myself with, to get out of my own way, that kind of mindset. So at the end of the day, we don't know where this is going to go. But if we can help a few people, 10 people, 1,000 people, whatever, add an extra $1,000 of income to their profile every month, if they can add an extra $1,000 a month, an extra income, I think that could help out a lot of people. And that's pretty much where we are trying to go with this platform, help people increase income. If that happens, then there's going to be options and choices to make down the road. So if you've gotten this far on the episode, please do message us on Instagram, strive425_. That's our primary place that we are operating in every single day and activity. So if you do like Instagram, please message us there. Let us know any comments, any thoughts, any advice you have for somebody, any stories or that you may want to share with somebody else's side hustle or business. We always want to hear examples. Any comments on the book, any feedback on the book. It sucks. It's great. It's okay. Whatever. Cool. Let us know. We can always, make updates to it. We are trying to get in front of more people, more entrepreneurs, more business owners, more people that are doing things and sharing their stories. So if you know somebody that may be a good fit for the podcast, let us know. We're all ears and want to meet more people that are okay with sharing their story. So thank you so much, and more to come very soon.